News, I would say, but I don't think it was unexpected given the time period of the season. Caitlin Clark announced on her social media that she will miss the rest of the season. She captioned it in short, in part, I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with a singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. She was limited to 13 games this.
Candace Parker wanted just detonated a truth bomb. The WNBA never dropped. Caitlin Clark being shut down for the entire year isn't just a setback for Indiana. It's a full-blown catastrophe for the entire league. And now the whispers are getting louder, not softer. What if Clark decides she's had enough and walks away from the WNBA altogether? That's not paranoia. That's the nightmare scenario.
To 13 games this season, and she hasn't played since July 15th when she suffered a right groin injury in the final minute of the Fever's win versus the Sun right before the All-Star game.
I mean, that's our girl. That's our girl. And I feel like no matter what happened, you have to protect you and you have to protect your career.
The league thought it had time to fix its problems, but time's up. Ask yourself, if Clark quit tomorrow, what would the WNBA even look like? Spoiler, it would be a wreck, a mess. They can't sweep under the rug anymore.
And to force anything. And I feel like her just kind of having that approach of doing what's best for her is all we can ask for, because we'd rather Caitlin sit out and then come back next season and we're ready to roll and we're ready to rock. And so we've just been supporting her and she's been supporting us. She's always there. We're getting to watch film and she's in there walking through saying, hey, and we're like, get out, go do what you need to do. But I mean, she's still the same. And I feel like our approach, because we've been missing her for so long, is just to come in and compete. And we have a good rhythm, I think, with everyone that's came in. And so just keeping that as
Clark, just 2 years into her pro career, is officially sidelined with nagging groin and leg injuries. You can hear the frustration even in her carefully measured public comments. She's devastated, but fans know how to read between the lines. This isn't just about a lost season. This is about relentless pressure, an environment that failed her, and a league that refused to protect the very star keeping it alive.
It said that they were hopeful that Clark would return by the end of the regular season, but Caitlin was unable to fully reincorporate back into practice. And, she had never missed a game in her collegiate career or first year in the WNBA. So this is definitely a blow, I'm sure, for the organization, but also for her. Fever went 8-5 when Clark played and 15-15 without her. You all did win the Commissioner's Cup for the first time in franchise history without her. So maybe that is also another precursor. But big picture from the outside looking in, I have been a player that has had a number of injuries.
Enter Candace Parker, a legend who knows better than anyone what it means to push a body past its limit. She didn't sugarcoat it. Parker flat out said Clark made the right call, shutting it down. She admitted that late in her own career, she ignored warning signs, tried to grind through injuries, and paid the price. Her message to Clark was crystal clear. Don't let the league bully you into risking your future. Don't make me mistake. Take care of your body first. That's wisdom delivered with authority.
And there is a difference in being a role player and coming in and playing a role and coming in off of an injury. There is a rhythm. But when you are Caitlin Clark and you have the ball in your hands and you are on the other team's scouting report, to come in half and not be able to be in that amount of, I would say, rhythm of the game, because the rhythm of the game changes towards the end of the year. And so when it started getting closer to the end of the regular season, I was like, it's dangerous to come back during playoff basketball because the whole flow, the physicality, all of that is different. And so I know it's difficult to kind of take time and understand the big picture, especially when you're living with tunnel vision and you've worked so hard to get to where you're at, but it's the smart thing. And I'm proud of this generation for taking the time they need, looking at the bigger picture, and making sure that they get healthy. So, Caitlin Clark, hope you feel better. You have a great off season and you come back.
But here's the bigger issue. This isn't just about Clark's health. This is about the WNBA's entire future hanging by a thread. Every single metric that matters, attendance, TV ratings, jersey sales, skyrocketed because of her. She didn't just raise the Fever, she dragged the entire league into relevance. And now the WNBA's one golden ticket is sitting on the sidelines in street clothes while executives scramble to spin this disaster. The obvious, terrifying question is this. What if Clark says, "I'm done"? What if she decides her career, her body, and her future mean more than wrecking herself for a league that refuses to blow the whistle when she's shoved across the court? The fallout would be nuclear. Let's be honest, fans didn't show up because they suddenly cared about the WNBA brand. They showed up because they cared about Clark. They bought tickets for her. They wore her jersey. They tuned in for her highlights. Take her away, and the arena's empty overnight. You're right back to half-full gyms and live streams. Nobody clicks. And don't forget, this was avoidable. The league already rolled the dice by refusing to protect her. Every game turned into a brawl. Defenders hip-checked her, elbowed her, shoved her in the middle of the air. It looked more like hockey than basketball. The refs swallowed their whistles. Engelbert's office kept quiet, and everyone pretended it was just physical play. Now their golden goose, the one laying all those golden eggs, ice out for the year. Bravo, WNBA. Brilliant work. Parker sees it clearly. Playoff basketball isn't just tough. It's brutal. Faster, harder, nastier. The worst possible time to push a star back from injury. You don't bring a Ferrari into a demolition derby. But that's exactly what the WNBA wanted. Clark limping around just to squeeze a few more ratings points. That's desperation, not leadership. The thing is, Clark knows she holds the real power. She doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. She could quit tomorrow and still have her pick of opportunities. Broadcasting, endorsements, international ball, even starting her own brand. Meanwhile, the league is a carry case propped up for years by the NBA. After decades of trying to break through, the WNBA finally had its biggest growth spurt because of Clark. One player barely into her sophomore season carried them further than all of Angelbert's speeches combined. That is why the quit the league talk feels surreal. Fans are already saying it out loud. If Clark's not playing, I'm not watching. That's loyalty to her, not to the league. If she walks, they walk, too. And that's what instant regret looks like. Candace Parker deserves credit for saying what needed to be said. She wasn't just advising Clark. She was indirectly telling the WNBA to respect its players. Stop running them into the ground. Stop pushing them back too soon. Clark isn't just a rotation piece. She's the player every scouting report circles in red. If she's not at 100%, she has no business being out there. Parker all but applauded her for realizing that truth before it was too late. But here's the twist. This isn't only about health. It's about trust. Clark gave everything to the game. She even said she was grinding for hours daily in rehab, trying to fight back. You could hear the heartbreak in her words. But when it came time for gratitude, she didn't mention the league, not the refs, not the leadership. She thanked her fans and her teammates. Period. That's stunning. The fans showed up for her. The league didn't. And that's why the door is wide open now for all the Clark could walk away talk. She's already learned the hard way that the WNBA won't protect her. So, why keep playing a rigged game? And if you really want to connect the dots, think about what happens if Caitlin Clark decides she's done with the WNBA. Other leagues and investors would be falling over themselves together. Imagine Clark playing in Europe where she could earn tax-free money, play fewer games, and let's be honest, actually get a whistle from referees. Or picture her walking away from basketball entirely and pouring her energy into broadcasting, endorsements, media ownership, or NEL-style projects that help the next generation. She could build an empire bigger than the WNBA itself and the league. They'd be left holding their regrets, watching the savior they squandered thrive without them. Now, here's the thing. Clark's saga isn't happening in a vacuum. The WNBA has been here before. They've had stars and they've had problems. Angel grabbed headlines, often for all the wrong reasons. Players complained about salaries, travel conditions, and subpar facilities. The league has always hovered in this frustrating almost there, but not quite zone. Then Clark burst into the scene, and fans flooded in. For a brief moment, it looked like all the old problems had magically vanished. But the second Clark got hurt, the illusion shattered. The curtain dropped, and everyone saw the same old WNBA issues staring back. And here's where Candace Parker's voice hits.